We are back. Sorry for not being here last week, but with the close capacity of like Liverpool and Utica, it wasn't happening, folks. Just not happening. UFC, damn you, because we were at the Liverpool event, which was absolutely insane when Darren Till came out. Well, that was an atmosphere that blew the socks off us.
That was, if I'm being honest, it might be the high point of the card. But it's something like that. I love the entrances. It's like Dublin. Dublin was. I remember McGregor walked out. That was pretty amazing. But like that was very, very close to. I think it was right up there. But I thought that, like, anytime you go to live fights, I love going to live fights and just take it all in. It doesn't really happen as much as I like to nowadays. So it's when you go there, you have a good time. We were there for 3-4 days. We had a right good old time. We ate some good food. We had some laughs, and hopefully they'll be coming back very, very soon. I'd love to go back to Liverpool. Liverpool's a really good city. So
yeah, it is.
I really enjoyed myself. It was just a good week. It really was, and we met a lot of people as well, which is always good.
Yeah, we did. We met a lot of new listeners and people who'd listened originally, and yeah, it was great meeting you all, people. So hopefully in the future we'll meet you in future events. But we are here to talk about this UFC pay-per-view card that's going down, bro. 225. Wow, Romero. Taking on Whittaker again to try and get that middleweight strap, man. Obviously, we're going to have Will's bets later on, and then your questions that came in. So let's kick off the card, my friend.
2 bets.
Yeah.
I've 2 bets so far, and I've got one I'm going to go on again. So
Here we go.
I've had them for the last 2 weeks as well. So I've been very, very. This card I've had my eye on for a long time. Yeah.
So here we go. Let's start off down the bottom of the card, kicking things off in the featherweight division. Mike Santiago is taking on Dan Ige. Right, kick me off, Will. How do you see this one happening and going down?
This is the fight that I've only really watched the last kind of couple of fights of these guys, but I think Danny he got really outclassed last time against Julio Arce, who I think is going to be a really good fighter. He showed last Friday night. He's like Daniel Tamer. I don't know. Before he came into the UFC, I thought he was better than his brother. I heard a lot about him, and his brother's obviously making massive leaps. You can see with the way he's fighting, but he looked really composed and got the finish there. And like he totally pieced up Dan Ige in the first fight. Like Dan Ige, whenever he came forward, was eating massive shots. Santiago lost to Mads Burnell, which was a lot of people were like really confident in Mike Santiago, and I'm like, Mads Burnell is going to take him down and he's going to dominate the fight. And he missed weight. He did miss weight. But he still won that fight, I thought, pretty convincingly, and probably should have beat Arnold Allen before he got that ninja choke out of nowhere. I still don't think that's a bad performance from Mads Burnell.
Great performance,
I think this is going to be close. Honestly, looking at it, I'm thinking if Santiago can stop maybe getting taken down, not that Ige is really known for his takedowns, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a back and forth. The guy's going to win a split. If I'm going to go with anybody, I'm going to go with Dan Ige.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think it's going to be one of those fights that isn't going to be fight of the night. I think it's going to be one of them ones where Mike wants to keep distance, just pepper him with shots. He does not want to let Dan get close, because Dan's he'll want to clinch up, get that inside or outside leg trip to try and get him down the ground. And Dan will be happy either being on top or on his back, because his game is more on the grappling side of things. That's his strong point. But again, Mike Santiago is shown in fights outside of the UFC as well as in. He likes to stand and likes to throw and bang. And the dude is good. I like Mike Santiago. He's an entertainer. He will put on a good show for us, but he's got to stop that takedown from Dan. I don't think he's got to do too well. I think what will happen is it's going to be a lot on the cage. You know, we're going to see a lot of grappling on the cage. It's not what we want to see necessarily all the time, but I think this is the style of fight. Dan will want to get to the ground, so it's going to be a battle on the cage. But I think he might get it down once or twice, which again, like you say, sways the judges, gets what they want. I think Mike might be able to hold them off from the submissions. I'm going decision as well with Dan. It's not big, not going to be a big one, but it's going to happen. Next up, lightweight division, we've got Clay Guida against Charles Oliveira in the prelims. Okay, so Charles Oliveira is finally, he's having to stay in the lightweight division, because the dude is also having to deal with guys who are 155ers, like big boys, like Paul Felder, big 155er. Clay Guida, he was tried 145, wasn't ideal for him. He's back in 155 as well. But man, I love this matchup. This one's a crazy bout because we saw Clay. I know there's Joe Lozon, and Joe Lozon's probably a little bit the latter end of his career. But then you saw Clay Guida show these hands and power, man. He's fighting a guy in Charles Oliveira that he really ideally, as much as Clay wants to wrestle him and get him down, he probably wants to stay up with this fight because no one likes to stay on the ground, Charles Oliveira, unless you start getting that striking in. Do I think Clay's wrestling is stronger than Charles Oliveira's grappling? I think it might be. I think Clay Guida's a strong, powerful dude, and he causes problems for a lot of people. I think we might see Clay Guida go to the ground and be cautious on the ground. I think he might just get him down, a couple of shots, doesn't too much. But I think ideally Clay's going to want to stand and bang. I think if Clay's got, you might have that kind of buzz from the last fight with his hands. I think I'm going to go Clay Guida, mate. I'm going to go Clay Guida stoppage. I think Charles Oliveira doesn't like getting punched in the face. He's shown it many times. I think Clay Guida's got that confidence to stop the takedowns from Charles Oliveira because he's very good at the grappling side of things, Clay. And he's got that confidence in his hands. I'm going for a Clay stoppage, man. I think I can see him do it again. I'm going wild. I'm going Clay Guida, TKO of Charles Oliveira, second or third round.
Thing is with Charles Oliveira, he quits though. He did it in his last fight with Paul. Well, to be saying that, he didn't really quit.
He was getting elbowed pretty hard.
Yeah, if the tide is against him, he will fold and he will look for a way to kind of remove himself from the fight. And he did that pretty much against Paul Felder. When I was watching that fight, I was screaming at the TV like, "Paul Felder, what are you doing? Jumping into like the most dangerous part of Charles Oliveira's game," and that was his submissions and his grappling. But ultimately, he came out on top and he broke Charles Oliveira with his ground and pound, his elbows. Paul Felder's got some seriously nasty elbows. Guida's looked great since he's went to Team Alpha Male, so he's got a couple of wins over some younger guy in Eric Koch, but who's been around for a long time. Joe Lozon, who's been around for just as long as Clay Guida has. Clay Guida, I think on the feet, Oliveira's going to really pot him from distance, hit him, and kind of keep him there. But Guida, you know what he's going to do? He's going to want to move that head, pass into.
He never stops moving it.
No. He's going to initiate into maybe takedowns, and that's where he has to be careful with Oliveira because we all know that Oliveira can wrap up a submission in no time. And if I think he's very dominant off top position. I think he's a really dangerous fighter from there. But if you put him against his back and start beating the piss out of him, you can get this guy. And I can see where you're going with Clay Guida here. I think it's a close fight. I think the odds, if I remember looking earlier on, are quite close. So it might be one of those dog or pass. I think that Charles Oliveira could potentially catch another submission here. I think that Guida might leave something in there like a neck. And if you do that against Oliveira, you will be in a lot of trouble. So I'm actually going to go with Charles Oliveira via a submission at some point in the first 2 rounds. But if it goes into the third, then I could ultimately see Clay Guida absolutely beating down on Charles Oliveira and winning a decision. So, but I'm going to go Oliveira to win. I'm going to go for a sub finish.
I love this. I love the matchup, man. I love it because it is so contrasting. You know, you got the great wrestling of Clay and the great grappling of Charles. Next up, we have in the flyweight division. Another fight in the prelims. This is insane. Joseph Benavidez taking on Sergio Pettis in potentially what is deemed as, it could be as a number 1 contender. You could deem it that. How do you see this fight going? I know you got a soft spot for your Pettis, but on a mutual respect for both fighters, how do you see the fight going down? Yeah,
I think it's going to be another close fight. I've been hearing people say Benavidez is maybe at that tilting point where he might go that way instead of going up. I don't believe that for 1 second, honestly. I think he had a bad injury. He got the surgery to get that fixed. He's been out a good 18 months. But when you look at the people, he still beats everybody else in the division, not named Demetrius Johnson. So, and like the only guys he's lost to is DJ and Dominic Cruz, who are 2 of the best champions I think the UFC and WEC ever had. Beaten like number 1 contender, even though the fight with Cejudo was really close and it could have went either way. I had it for Joseph Benavidez personally, but knocked off Makovsky, knocked off Bagatinov, knocked off Moraga, Ortiz, Elliott, all legitimate guys in that division. The one thing here, it's just the ring rust a little bit. Is it going to affect him? I don't think it will. Honestly, I think Benavidez has been around that long that he'll adjust and he'll be just as good as he always is. Pettis, everybody knows my kind of affiliation with the Pettis brothers. I've got a lot of time for them. I'm a big fan of the story, the camp they come from, and they're just good guys. Pettis is obviously a really, really good fighter, still really young in the division, so his time's probably not even coming. The next, let's say 4, maybe 5 years, he might be the guy that actually runs the division at flyweight, because he is so young and he's been around. And but he's been showing improvements as well. Obviously, elite technical striking, very accurate, very poised with his striking. The one thing I worry about here is him getting taken down and not being able to get off his back. I think that Benavidez can take him down and can possibly keep him there, but I think he could also. I think if he stays on the feet, you have to. I think you give the edge to Pettis just with his technical awareness and his technical striking. But I can see Benavidez mixing it up, and I can see him. I can see Pettis struggling to go off his back in some of those rounds, and I think I can see where Benavidez can keep him down for long periods of the fight, and that's going to win him rounds. So I'm going to go Joseph Benavidez via decision.
I was going to go decision, Pettis. I think that he might be a little bit off with his timings because it's live. It's live fighting. It is, as much as you drill in the gym, it's sometimes a bit different. So I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Pettis' decision. I think Benavidez' decision. He's just got a bit more know-how. He's been around a bit longer. Like you say, he's fought the top guys every time. They keep knocking. He's like the Junior Dos Santos of the heavyweight division used to be. You know, that number 2 guy that people just couldn't get past to get to the top guy. And I think Pettis is, you know, like you say, give him a couple of more years. Man, the flyweight division is exciting. Like, people need to understand there's a bag full of young, exciting dudes. When Demetrius Johnson and Benavidez are gone in a couple of years, maybe in a 2-3 years time, which, you know, I'm not putting both of them guys down. I just think logically the two of them maybe have 2-3 years left. That division is going to be insanely fun. There's going to be so much competition, and Pettis is one of those names that's going to be up there, man. But this time round, like you say, I think there's just something about Benavidez, that wrestling aspect. Just the Pettis brothers hate that. They hate wrestling. They hate it. I just think Benavidez is just going to just get enough to get that decision, get himself back in the game, get his timing right, and also get the clock, you know, get those minutes under the clock. You know, that's big for Benavidez, getting 15 minutes in him and go out there and go back and maybe shout out for Demetrius again. Personally, if I was Benavidez, I'd want one more before Demetrius. But then again, maybe his body might not want to wait that long. Next up, bro. Not sure. Right, light heavyweight division. Okay, Anthony Smith is going to stay in at 205 now. To cut down to 185 is too much. Doesn't enjoy it. Dude is massive for 185. Suits him at 205. Fighting Rashad Evans, another guy who was king of the hill at 205. Went down to 185 a bit too late, in my opinion, for his career. Then he's back up at 205. I don't know how many more he's got left in the bag, Rashad, but I've got to say, this fight here, I was hoping to see Rashad versus Michael Bisping. Now, props to I want to say thank you to Michael Bisping for his career. His career, Will, okay? His career, nothing else, right? Good thanks to him for that. But I was hoping for the fight with Rashad and Bisping. I thought that would have been an ideal kind of send off, like last farewell fight for both guys. But sadly, it's not happened. But Rashad, man, I don't think this is a good matchup for him. I think Anthony Smith's a bit of a tough one for him because he's big and long and like he's just going to use those kicks. I know like Rashad's probably going to want to use a bit of wrestling here, but I think Smith's going to be a bit of a nightmare for him to take down. And Smith can take a hit, you know. Dude just gets get dirty in the fights. And Rashad, man, I think he's going to have a bit of trouble here with Anthony Smith. I think Anthony Smith's just a big kind of long dude that's not ideal for Rashad to fight against. Rashad, you know, he's not fought a lot over the past couple of years. Obviously, a couple of things not working out for him. The results haven't gone his way. I know he's in the UFC still because of who he is, but I don't really see him still getting a win, bro. I see Anthony Smith taking this Do I see a stoppage? I think Rashad's pretty tough. I think he's a tough good dude. He's got a tough chin. I see decision Anthony Smith, man. I just think Rashad, it's getting to that time for him, man. The jumping up and down the weight classes recently as well. You know, I think the best one is Sam Alvey. You know, he couldn't stop the Sam Alvey fight. I think the same kind of similar thing happens here. I think Anthony Smith stops Rashad, man, getting a win. I think it's a win for Smith.
By the way, I'll second that thing with Michael Bisping. I know we've had our kind of run-ins in the past, but
career,
to be fair, it's like what he's did for UK MMA and European MMA. It's unheralded, really.
Yeah.
So enjoys retirement. I'm sure. I actually watched a funny video with him earlier on talking about Paige Van Zant's tits, which was actually quite funny. So I hope he enjoys retirement. He's to be honest with you, he's did a lot for MMA over this side of the pond, so he has to be muchly respected for that. But yeah, I think I'm with you on Anthony Smith here as well. It's really hard to pick Rashad Evans. I want to pick Rashad Evans because when you think, like, if you were to go back 4 or 5 years, like Anthony Smith against Rashad Evans, come on, guys, what's going on here? But this is showing you what's a deteriorating fighter. This is what can happen. And now I can't believe I'm sitting here and I'm fairly confident that Anthony Smith is going to beat Rashad Evans. Rashad Evans just does not throw punches anymore. He's slowed down. Like if he had half the killer instinct he had in the past, he would handle Anthony Smith with ease. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about with Anthony Smith is just him late on in the fight, just fading a little bit because he's been known to do that a little bit.
With him going up a weight class, that might,
exactly.
the cut, it could be a good thing.
Yeah, but Rashad literally doesn't throw.
Yeah.
So I can see. I think Rashad's going to want to wrestle here. Actually, I think he's definitely slowed down with his hands and his explosiveness, but I still think he's got the wrestling. So I think he can make it close. But it's really hard to pick Rashad Evans. I hope he wins, but I'm going to go with, I think the logical pick is Anthony Smith. Kind of pieces him up, probably loses a round, but he wins 29-28 on majority of the cards.
Okay, I like this, bro. I like this. Okay, next up, I thought Charles De La Rosa got cut, and he's just been re-signed for this fight, I believe so. Heavyweight fight, like I said, Rashad Coulter against Charles De La Rocha. Man, I don't see Rocha doing too well in this fight. Man, when we watched him in Glasgow, I was quite excited to watch him perform, man. Like, he's a big dude, but dude moves well. Like, he does actually move well. He's got, good hands, good bit of pace to him, but like when he gets in there and he gets hit, man, like, he's too green. Like, he's only had 6 fights, he's way too green. And I think he got thrown into the deep end in the UFC a bit too quick. Like, he was only 4-0, bless him. But man, Coulter is a downright dirty fighter, man. He is game. He showed in that Sherman fight. That dude can take a beating and doesn't bother him. I can't see Charles De La Rosa stopping this. I think Chris De La Rosa is going to go sleep, man. I think Coulter is just going to catch him coming in and teeing off with a kind of counter-striking little flurry, catch him on the way out. I just see Coulter getting first, second round finish, man. I don't even think it's going to decision. I think it's a cutthroat this one. Easy for me. Coulter, first, second round. I just don't see anything that Rocha offers.
Yeah, it's like, I'm looking here just at the record of Rashad Coulter, and it's not great, honestly.
No.
I don't think he's a really good fighter. I don't think De La Rocha is either. I actually thought he retired. I thought already retired, and then he comes in here short notice. But like the big thing I'm looking at here is there's a huge height disparity. There's a big reach disparity. I think the tougher fighter is definitely Rashad Coulter, but it's hard being confident in any pick. I think these guys are lowest. If you're looking at the UFC heavyweight division, it's as low level as you can get, really. If I'm being honest with you, this is. Like I say, I'm going to get a mini rant here. How is this on Fox Sports 1 when you've got Pettis? Like, it makes no sense to me.
Well, Clay Guida, Charles Oliveira, Pettis, and Benavidez, like those 2 fights alone are on the prelims.
I would have put Pettis as the first fight in the pay-per-view, and I would have moved Overeem and Blades instead of Arlovsky to Avasa, and you've got a better pay-per-view. It makes no sense to me, this card. Like, I don't know what they're doing. I can see what they're doing with CM Punk. I can 100% see what they're doing.
I get that business side, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but getting back to the fight, low level heavyweights could go either way here. I want to go with the bigger guy in Chris De La Hoya, but it's just hard after what you see when you watch him. I'm going with Shad Coulter. I think he takes a lot of damage in this one. I think he gets it done by TKO maybe in the third round when he gets some down there. So I'm going to go Coulter, but really not confident in the pick, honestly.
I don't see either one of the... Oh, Roach is probably going to go after this, but I don't see either one of them doing anything to be worthy of note in the UFC, folks. They're just punching bags. Because that's how weak the heavyweight division is in the world. Not just UFC, like world in general. So next up we have oh man, what a sick fight this is. Woo! Featherweight division. Ricardo Lamas against Mirsad Bektic. Bro, man, this fight is fun. This is going to be awesome, dude. Tell me what you see happening here. Oof.
Yeah. I've been a big admirer of Bektic for a long time. I think he's got legit talent. I think he will be a contender in this division. He had his last fight was it was a devastating body punch knockout, but it was a big fight to come back after that Darren Elkins fight, because really he completely won that fight, and then Darren Elkins just
Darren motherfucking Elkins, man.
that's the motherfucking damage. So it's crazy. I love the fact that he's moved to TriStar. He's moved away from American Top Team, and he's getting specialist training with Faraz Sahabi. Like a lot of one-on-one, where American Top Team, I don't think they do all that much really one-on-one.
There's a lot of coaches there, isn't there? You see, so it's more they split the coaches up with certain fighters. Yeah, it's
getting specialised kind of training with Faraz Sahabi, which is he's obviously got the talents there, but that's only going to help broaden his MMA game completely. Getting one-on-one, I'm sure he's probably sparring or training with GSP, and he's got
Arnold Allen.
Yeah, Arnold Allen. He's got a lot of different guys, and Ricardo Lamas is coming off that dirty knockout to Josh Emmett back in December, where he got roasted. That was one of the worst knockouts I think I've seen in a long time. But I still think it's another step up for Mirsad Bektic here, because Lamas is. Yeah. When I look at that division, I think Lamas is a top 5 fighter still. He just got caught in that fight, and it happens. I think Bektic. I'm wondering where this fight's going to take place, because I think Lamas is hard to take down. I think he's got some decent striking. So ultimately I see it being really close, and I think Lamas has actually got a chance in this one if he fights smart and doesn't get caught with some big shots or anything like that. But I'm leaning towards Mirsad Bektic just a little bit more, probably a decision.
Matt, it's a hard one to call. It is, because Lamas is weirdly yo-yo. Like, look what he did to Jason Knight, and then he gets stopped. I want consistency for Lamas, because he's, like you say, he's a killer. He's a savage. Yeah. When he's on point, he is a murderer. Like, I was pumped about like the talks of him and Aldo again, man. I was like, dude, I think he could have stopped Aldo if he fought again. I was like, if Lamas turns up, but man, I want to know what Mirsad's been doing at TriStar, because you think about all the information he's absorbed at ATT, and now he's going to another gym and absorbing more information. He's evolving his game, so it's not. You can't really look at the stuff he did in his last fight too much, and because you don't know what he's adding to his game somewhere else, and if he changes his pace a bit different, does he approach fights that so much can change with different camps. It's really hard. It's that question mark that puts it for me in favour of Mirsad, because I think, oh man, there's something unknown maybe coming, and he, like you say, Mirsad, he's only just lost that fight to Elkins, because I say just lost it, but he had it in the bag, and he would have learned so much. People don't understand, that's so beneficial for him going forward, that loss rather than the win. I think here I'm going Mirsad as well, and I'm going to go maybe decision. I think he can get the decision, but it's not going to be huge. It'll be like maybe just a couple of takedowns here and there to maybe decide it, because I think on the feet it's going to be a bit wild, but I think Mirsad can maybe get those important, crucial takedowns at the right times in each round. Like the last 2 minutes, get one at the last 2 minutes of each round, just to kind of get in the judge's head that you've got a dominating position for maybe a minute or so. Even if they're holding each other in guard, I think Mirsad can maybe pop that. It's only just. Next up, bro, women's strawweight division. I think it's a cut and shut fight myself. Claudia Gadelha versus Carla Esparza. Claudia Gadelha, oh my gosh, she's one beautiful woman. Mate, I see Claudia winning this all day long. She's not easy to take down unless you're Jessica Andrade. End of. Like, Carla Esparza is not Jessica Andrade. That is the best way to describe it. Like, Claudia's going to get grabbed. Like, Carla's going to shoot in, and Claudia's going to go, is that it? Like, I just had a gorilla throw me around in the last fight. A female gorilla. Not being disrespectful, no disrespect to Jessica, but Jessica was an absolute monster. I cannot wait to see Jessica versus Rose. Anyway, yeah, I think Carla's going to have a tough time in the office. Like, I know she's been improving, and don't get me wrong, she has, but Claudia's so good. Like, she's getting better on her feet all the time, Claudia. Mate, I just don't see how Carla can stop her. I think Claudia's actually going to get Carla, I think Claudia can get Carla down with like the inside little trips and stuff like that. I think she'll get on top, and Carla ain't going to do nothing off her back. She won't be able to stop it. And I just see Claudia all day long taking this. Probably maybe a decision, because Carla is tough, to give her credit. Like, Claudia's not got the striking of Joanna to like mess her up with that striking, and it's only 3 rounds as well. So I think Claudia might get. I think Claudia as well in 3 rounds is a horrible fighter. She's so good in 3 rounds. She'll just put it on Carla, sorry. And I think it's Gadelha all day decision, mate.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's I think it's one of the more cut and dry fights in this fight card, actually. Sitting back and looking at it, I'm like, where's Esparza going to have any success in this fight? Is she going to take down Gadelha and keep her there? I don't think she's got the strength to do that, especially after Gadelha's last fight, where she literally got brutalised in that fight, taken down and then beaten to oblivion. Yeah. Carla Esparza's not going to do that. She's not got the strength to do it, and she's just can't do it. There's only a couple of fighters. Andrade's maybe the only fighter that can do that in that division. Yeah, put you down and keep you there. And Gadelha's hard to keep there as well, and she just kept her there and just beat her up pretty badly. On the feet, I think Gadelha's made improvements. I think Esparza's made improvements. Just think that there's levels, and I think that Gadelha is a little bit far ahead. She's a little bit faster. This was a fight that was supposed to happen years ago in Invicta. I remember them jawing at each other for a long, long time.
I'm glad it's happening now, though, if I'm Gadelha.
Yeah. I'm going to go Gadelha. I think she's just going to have too much, pretty much overall where the fight goes. If Esparza can't get her down, I don't know where. She's not going to win the fight standing, so... to me, I'm going to go Gadelha. I think she could stop Esparza if her striking's on point. I think she could definitely stop her. But women's fights, majority of the time they go to decision. I'm going to stick with that here.
And then next up, bro, it's an easy one, cut and short. Let's go to the middleweight division. Heavyweight division. Heavyweight division. Alistair Overeem is back. He's landed back on Earth. His soul is back in his body, and he's fighting Curtis Blades. How do you see this one going? Because it's kind of intriguing, to be fair. There's quite a lot of question marks on this, bro. Go ahead.
This is an intriguing one to me. It's one of the ones I've had circled on the calendar, just looking at that and looking at the fight, because it's interesting. You've got this new blood in Curtis Blades, who you can see. I think he's a future UFC champion. He's got all the skills there, and he's shown every fight that he's getting better. Where Overeem this is just a big fight to see if Blades can right now mix it with a top 5 guy, which Overeem is, and Overeem's I think he's going to cause him a lot of problems. But I do think that Curtis Blades is one of those big guys who is forever improving every fight and is adjusting. Like, what I loved about the Mark Hunt fight was that he got hurt and instantly went into wrestling mode. I love fighters that do that now. He actually showed pretty decent striking in that fight. Hit Hunt with some decent shots, but then he realised, right, I'm not going to win this fight in a stand-up fight with Mark Hunt. I have to get him to the ground consistently, keep him there. He knew where the big disparity in the game was and kept him there. I love fighters like that. They're good fighters for betting on, because you know what they're going to do. Now the thing is with Overeem here, if you take him down, Overeem will probably get back to his feet, because he has got a really good get-up game for the majority of the time. Plus he's got submission skills that we really haven't seen in the UFC. Back in Pride, the guy was, when he was
Guillotines,
like, probably a welterweight back in Pride or whatever it was, and he was just, I think at Belfort, he caught Belfort in a couple of submissions. I think maybe there was a few other ones off the top of my head I can't remember, but when you look at striking, Overeem's obviously the favourite once it goes there. I think Blades has got some big strikes on him, don't get me wrong, Blades has got the wrestling, the grappling, maybe the dirty clinch up against the cage, keep him there. Ultimately, I think that Curtis Blades is timing. I love his timing on his takedowns, and he just knows when to do it in important moments of the round. Take the fight down to the ground, blanket the guy, beat him up down there, and win a decision probably. But I do think he could possibly TKO if he gets him down and keeps him there. I think he can beat up on Alistair Overeem. So in that way, I'm going to look to him to finish the fight. Probably, I'm going to go third round. If not, if it's a decision, I don't know. Shit, I'm going to go TKO. I think he could stop him. I think if he blankets him, throws a lot of heavy strikes, I think he could knock out Overeem, because Overeem is a guy that if you put a good shot on him, he will go to sleep as well.
I loved Overeem's interview with Ariel recently. He was open, honest, and he's just a really humbled guy. He's not a bell end. He is nice. He's awesome. But the thing is, you can't get sent to space like that, like he did by Ngannou, and come back and think that you can take a crack again. That has long-term effects on your performance, and he's not getting any younger. He's not. I bet you if this was boxing and he was Freddie Roach and Freddie Roach was his coach, he'd be like, nah, 1 year off. You know, like Freddie Roach looks after his boxers. If they have big knockouts, he doesn't let them fight for a year. Overeem's back in there again. Man, Curtis Blades is not. He's not a pillow puncher. That dude can crack. The fight with Ngannou, the only reason he didn't get to the next round is because his eye swelled up. If his eye had not swelled up shut, man, we might have seen Curtis Blades stop Ngannou, because Ngannou doesn't like more than one round. We saw that, man. So I think Curtis Blades is going to stop Overeem. I think he's going to catch Overeem, and he's going to maybe a flurry TKO or something, man. Because Curtis Blades, like you say, he's got good timing, long. I like the way he extends those long strikes, man. He makes himself long with those punches, and it's only 4-ounce gloves, people. It's not hard. It's not easy to block those punches, and I think Overeem, as good as he is a striker, he is a very good striker. If it was 5 years ago, it's a different game. But man, Overeem's chin now, man, that's my big question. I'm like, how well do you take a hard hit? Like, how does it affect you when it happens? Because he's been knocked out over 10 times in his career. He can't keep doing it. Look at Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell, you know, he just was. He was just getting knocked out for fun at the end, you know. And I think I think we'll go see that now. I think Curtis Blades. I'm going to go stoppage here. I don't think maybe the third round. I think even earlier. Curtis Blades for the win. All right. New young blood in the heavyweight division. That's partly why I want it to happen as well, man. Fresh blood in the top 5. Come on. Okay, kicking off the pay-per-view card in the welterweight division. A fight that you and I have been looking forward to all our lives. I'm so happy this is happening. CM Punk against Mike Jackson. Right, okay. So if you watch the footage of both of these guys, it's terrible. In theory, you watch their one fight in the UFC, both of them by the same guy. Both of them did nothing, and both of them got submitted. So we both know the ground game's pretty pants. CM Punk has been working very hard all the time with Duke Rufus. Kudos to him. He's been in the same gym with top level guys training. How good he gets, or how good he's got, we don't know, because we don't actually watch too much of it. Mike Jackson, he's probably done a lot of work on his boxing still. The thing I give Mike Jackson credit for, he actually has got nice footwork. When you watch him in there, he's got good movement with his feet. He's good with he's good coming in and out, because he's got that boxing background. And ultimately, I don't know what CM Punk's strength lies. I don't know if CM Punk is a better striker in the gym, or if he's actually a better grappler. Ideally, if you're CM Punk, I'd want him to be a better grappler, because I do think that the striking from Mike Jackson, there's no way CM Punk is going to catch up with him. And what I mean by that, folks, is Mike Jackson went 2-0 as a pro in boxing, so you can't. He's obviously done quite a lot of boxing in his life, so. Compared to CM Punk, anyway. I don't think CM Punk has enough time to catch up there, so I'm going to go with CM Punk wants to get for the takedown here and try and submit Mike Johnson, because Mike Johnson didn't know what he was doing when Mickey Gall got him down. But I'm going to You know, Mike Jackson. I think he's going to TKO CM Punk. I think you're going CM Punk, I believe, but I'm going to go out there. I reckon Mike Jackson, TKO CM Punk, just using those hands, man. Just box him. Just all he needs to do is box him. Don't need a kick. Jab, jab, right straight. Just pick him off.
Yeah.
But it's hard, mate. So,
yeah, it's like how do you pick between these guys? Like they're both
as bad as each other.
Yeah, it's both. It's just it's a hard. If you pick Punk, you're going to take shit no matter what. Even if you picked against them, you take shit. It's like who do you pick here? The UFC have put this guy in this place for him to get a win.
Yeah.
Whether he can get that,
it's like Charlie Ward.
Who knows exactly? Who knows what he's going to show us here? But I just think the UFC want this guy to win so badly. I'm still kind of annoyed they put him on the pay-per-view when we're talking about blades and Overeem. It's just like, I know what CM Punk's going to bring. I remember when I was in Vegas and the guy got mobbed, and like CM Punk is, actually, I'm going to say too, like when I first met him, the guy was a dick, and he's known for being a dick. But see, once he kind of he chilled out a little bit, and I spoke to him for maybe 90 seconds. He asked where I was from. I spoke to him because I do like watching a bit of wrestling, not so much nowadays, past, and I do like watching CM Punk as a wrestler. And he was actually really, really nice, a really nice guy. Got a picture with him, and which is pretty rare actually, because he's not good at giving up pictures from what I'm hearing. So I managed to get that one. Duke Rufus spoke really highly of his work rate and his work ethic, driving from Chicago to Milwaukee. He comes from, I think, he's got that Kempo karate background. Whether he'll show any of that, it's another thing. But I know he went to the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and I think they were in California and stuff. So that's what he's going to want to do, because Mike Jackson, I think he fought in the Golden Gloves boxing. I think he actually won maybe Golden Gloves boxing.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
so
he did. Yeah.
Clear disparity, and
that's legit. Like, that's not a joke. Right? It's something to take serious.
It's all it is. I want CM Punk to win, just for the fact. By the way, I watched his fight with Mickey Gall, and like that was terrible. He come running out, and he just played into the hands of Mickey Gall. But his entrance was absolutely unreal. In his hometown of Chicago here, where he's had a lot of history with the WWE and so on. I'm going to take a flyer on him. I'm going to take... The UFC want him to win. I want him to win.
There's no right or wrong in this. Yeah, there really isn't.
It's... I just want the guy to win. I don't really care if people come at me. And I know once I make my own video on YouTube, I'm going to catch some shit for this. I don't give a fuck. I think that... the UFC want this guy to win. Hands down. They don't want Mike Jackson to win, because what's he going to do? That means they're going to have a terrible... Either way, whoever wins this, they're going to have a terrible time matchmaking them. But CM Punk brings in lots more names than what Mike Jackson ever will. So CM Punk, don't care how he does it as long as he wins, but I'm going to pick him to win.
It's literally two awful guys to win. Like it's there's no right or wrong. They're both dire. It's just picking one of them to win. Like, they are legitimately... It crushes me inside that I train my ass off and fight, and these guys are on a pay-per-view UFC card when I would beat the snot out of both of them in the same night. It's absolutely devastating. But that's the way the business works. Next up, we have in the heavyweight division, Andrei Arlovski facing off against Tuivasa. Bro, man... I know what I'm seeing here, but what are you looking at?
I think, like, I was obviously, people are going to be really high in Tuivasa here, but this fight reminds me of the Junior Albini fight, where everybody was on one guy, and then Arlovski came in and fought really smart. But to be fair, Albini looked shocking that night.
Bad. Yeah, he
did. Like, he looked starstruck. Tai Tuivasa, I don't think it's going to be like that. He's going to want to come in there and throw some heavy leather. Arlovski, I think he needs to keep to that fighting smart, fight long, just wait for his opportunities to counter and maybe get off in Tuivasa, because Tuivasa is going to be super aggressive coming forward. He knows he can knock this guy out, one decent shot, and he will put the guy down. I don't know why I want to pick Andrei Arlovski in this. I've got a feeling that he just might pull it out. Then I'm thinking all it takes is one shot from Tuivasa,
Both of them, though.
Yeah, so I'm going to pick Tai Tuivasa. But honestly, I'm not that confident. And people have bet Tuivasa. He was a decent number when he first came out, but people are just like, they've steamed the line. I think he wins, but I'm not super confident. I think Arlovski can give him problems, but I'm going to go Tuivasa for the win.
Yeah, it's almost, if Arlovski can keep him away, it's in a big octagon. If he can keep him away, he could, like you say, he could pepper him, get good counter strikes in, because he has got really quick, good hands. Even now, Arlovski's got, for the heavyweight division, he's got quick hands. But Tuivasa, man, he just has to hit Andre, and Andre, even if he semi-blocks it, it's going to be hard for him. I think Tuivasa stops Arlovski, because I think Tuivasa's going to he's going to close the gap with just like, just charging him down, getting tight, and just like a flurry. And Tuivasa's so young in the heavyweight division, so he's not like been taking big beatings. He's not had big brawls yet, and I think the UFC got to push Tuivasa quick, which is the wrong thing to do, in my opinion. And he's going to come short. He's going to come up short real quick, but not right now. I think it's Arlovski's kind of like on that. He's on that steady decline. I can't see much out of. I'd like Arlovski to at least get a win, because I think Tuivasa needs to drop down a peg or two just to slow him down a little bit on his progression, because dude's got a lot of baby fat he can get rid of. You know what I'm saying? Could definitely tighten that up, because it's going to affect him later on in his career. Like Francis Ngannou, good luck, Tuivasa. Good luck with that. But yeah, I'm going to go with Tuivasa on this, only because I don't see Arlovski. He doesn't have a chin, is the best way to put it. He doesn't take punches well, and Tuivasa doesn't hit soft. He hits hard, and Tuivasa throws kicks as well, man. Like, he's got fat, massive thighs, man. He kicks. He's got heavy kicks too. So I think that can cause a problem. So again, I'm with you. Tuivasa stoppage, man. First or second round, legit quick, man. Next up, we have, finally, after her visa issues, because she basically kind of theoretically broke the law with the visa, we have Megan Anderson. She's facing Holly Holm in the featherweight division. Right, okay. So Megan's been out for a while, because she, like I say, she broke her work visa, stayed in the US for too long, passed her working visa and all that jazz. Anyway, it's all been sorted out, so she can fight. She's fighting Holly Holm. I'm not sure this is the right matchup for Megan Anderson to fight. Like, Holly Holm is really good, like really elite. Megan Anderson, not fought that many elite girls. She fought in Invicta. She lost to India Dan Weiss by submission, but she's not. She beat Peggy. Was it? Oh, was it? I don't know. Who was it again? Was it Peggy? Someone like that. I can't remember her name. I used to be in Tough. Peggy Moore. There you go. Beat her. Beat Snarver. Not much out. Nothing to get out of that. She beat Tweet. Was it Charlene Tweet? Whatever it was. Yeah. Again, who was on the tether of her career. It's a very shallow division, the featherweight division. Holly Holm is going to be not cutting weight too much. It's not a lot. She'll still cut weight, but not a lot. She'll be fresh for 3 rounds. Megan Anderson, she plods on her feet. She's quite heavy on her footwork. Like, don't get me wrong, she can bang, but the problem is she's facing girls who weren't using the footwork or weren't moving around enough. Holly's way too good on her feet. Like, her footwork is so good, and her kicks as well. Like, Megan doesn't throw that many kicks. She's more about the hands. Like, Holly has got great kicks, in and out. She won't stick around. Very good hands. Man, I just see Megan getting lit up here. I think her timing's going to be off, because she's been out for so long. Conditioning's going to play a big factor. You got Holly with those those little side kicks as well on the thighs and all sorts. I don't think Megan's going to have the answers quick enough to get to beat Holly Holm. I just see Holly Holm taking this all day long. Possible stoppage, but I'm going to go decision. I'm going to at least give Megan the bit of respect with it going for decision, but a stoppage would not shock me.
Yeah, I think Holly Holm's going to absolutely dominate this fight from the first bell. I think it's a really bad matchup for Megan Anderson. From the competitions that she's faced to someone like Holly Holm, who's did everything in boxing, faced the who's who, pretty much in MMA. When you look at it, Tate, Shevchenko, Rousey, Cyborg, she's faced the who's who. Might have not won
The randomized.
majority of them fights, yeah, but she's fought the best. She's stayed in for 25 minutes against probably the best skull we've probably ever had, depending who you ask. And she had moments in that fight as well. I thought she looked decent. Some really good counter striking, but what she's going to do here, she's going to be on her feet, be on her toes, hit from distance, hit, grunt and run is what she's going to do pretty much. Coming from Mike Winklejohn's like striking background, Jackson Winklejohn, they're going to get a game plan. They're going to absolutely execute it perfectly, and I think she totally and utterly outclasses Megan Anderson here. And the only thing I see, if Megan Anderson catches her with a shot and then she does throw big high kicks, she's got a lot of meat behind those kicks. I just think it's a big step up from who she's faced in the past. And Holly Holm is one of my more confident picks in this whole entire card.
I think there's a speed difference, though, isn't there, with the kicks?
Yeah,
like Megan's kicks and Holly's kicks, way different. Like, look at that Betch Correa kick. Woo!
Yeah,
man, Holly.
I still piss myself at that.
Yeah.
Betch goes like that, and then she takes a chin kick. Brilliant.
It's one of the best things ever.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay, I think we're going to clash on this next one, but we've got next up, ladies and gentlemen, is a interim title, which I'm bummed out they're doing an interim title, a lot of pish. But anyway, so you've got welterweight division, Rafael dos Anjos against Colby Covington. Will, give me your thoughts on this, man.
I actually really like the matchup. I really do. I love the fact that dos Anjos is up at 170. He's one of those smaller guys. I love the guys that move up seem to do really well. Whittaker's got the belt up at 185 by doing the same. Dos Anjos, if he wins this, he's going to get himself another belt and a crack at the lineal champion. So, starting off with Colby Covington, I cannot stand Colby, his persona. Now, I've met him and he's actually a really nice guy, but this whole persona is absolute dog shit. It's horrible. It makes me cringe every time. I've actually blocked him on social media, and I don't do that with many fighters. But
I just can't handle him.
Sick of his bullshit.
It's terrible, isn't it?
He's bringing people in and he's getting people pissed off, and those people are going to want to see him lose. So
he's doing Bisping, a modern day Bisping.
Yeah, I think he's a really good fighter. I do. I think he's an improving fighter. I think he's got a really good initial wrestling grappling game, and I think that he's actually a pretty good athlete. We haven't really seen that there. Dos Anjos, I think it's interesting because if you go back and watch Khabib against Dos Anjos, Khabib mauled him, and Covington is the bigger guy here. So if Covington was to get his hands on him, he could potentially be like Khabib, not as much as Khabib, because I think that Dos Anjos will stop takedowns, he will get whizzers, he will manage to get his back off the cage. That's something he cannot do here, is put his back in the cage, because Covington will be shooting non-stop. That's the reason he never did it in the Damian Maia fight, because he knew that Maia beat him up in the first round, there's no doubt about it, cut him up, but his striking's not good, and Covington's not good either. He throws everything into his shots and is wide open. Someone like Dos Anjos is going to, if he does that, if he's not shooting for legs and he's striking and throwing the strikes that he did in the Damian Maia fight, Rafael dos Anjos is going to catch him with a shot, because he leans into everything, he overcommits, he's wide open. Showed some nice leg kicks, I thought, in the Maia fight, but Rafael dos Anjos has got some of the nastiest leg kicks, body kicks in the whole entire UFC. Literally, I think it was early this morning when my wee one woke up, the first fight I watched was Dos Anjos against Lawler. I thought he looked great against Robbie Lawler.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was one of his career performances against Robbie Lawler. Beat him up with leg kicks in the first 2 minutes. Got into the clinch a few times, unloaded him. His combinations were on point. Took a few shots against Robbie Lawler, which you have to do to win fights against him, because you can never write him off. Clear jiu-jitsu skill difference here. He just can't be on his back, and he can't be on the majority of the fight against Covington. Now, if Covington gets him there, I don't think he's going to advance position. I think he's going to blanket him and look to keep him there, and hopefully the ref doesn't bring them back to their feet, because once it comes back to the feet, I think Dos Anjos absolutely brutalises him. I really do. I don't think Covington's got anything on the feet there. But the one thing that does concern me is the size of Colby Covington, because if he can grind on Dos Anjos, he could potentially win the fight through that. But you've got to remember, he's never been 5 rounds before. Now, I think he can go 5 hard rounds, Covington. I think just by looking at his body, I think that he's did a lot of work in that. I think he can go 5 rounds, but Dos Anjos is guaranteed he can go 5 rounds at elevation at the highest echelon, pretty much against the better guys than I think than what Colby Covington is. So for me, I'm going to go Rafael dos Anjos. I think he stops him. I think he pressures him. I think Covington breaks. If he can't get the takedowns, he's just going to break. He's mentally going to wilt, and Dos Anjos is going to be all over him, and he's going to take him out. I don't care if it's a submission or a TKO. I just want him to beat Covington so Covington can just be quiet for a little while and let the real guys like Kamaru Usman come through and challenge for belts and get bigger fights than what Covington should really be getting. So I'm going to go RDA. I'm going to go submission in round number 4.
Oof, submission. Okay. I'm going Rafael dos Anjos, and it's purely not because Colby's a complete piece of shit, but it's purely on the fact that Rafael is like that performance. Like you said, I was wanting to bring up the Lawler fight. Like he can take a crack, and now Colby's not going to crack well, like nowhere near the level Robbie can. So he's going to have a super high confident level on the feet standing. We all know he's going to be a better striker. I think Rafael will be tactical. I think he hopefully should do the calf kicks. I know Rafael does the great body kicks, but getting caught and getting a takedown is not worth the risk. But those calf kicks, they are far superior to do. And I think if hopefully he does the calf kicks, that will slow Colby down, restrict the speed of his takedowns. That is it. The first 2 minutes, Colby wants to get him down, hit those calves, get out of there, and just pick him off. And as Colby's, like you say, stretching in, just angle away, pick him off. I think Rafael dos Anjos is just going to literally pick his face up, like pick his face apart. So he's just going to just Colby's going to be a mess. He's not going to. Rafael's not going to overcommit on this. He's not going to just keep going until he gets, because Colby can take the takedown. You're going to see him just pick it away, 5 rounds. And I think Colby can't do a 5-round pace of Rafael dos Anjos' pace, because we've seen how good the pace that Rafael dos Anjos can do. 5 rounds coming at you, striking all the time. Colby can't do that. Colby doesn't want to stand up. He wants to get on top of you. In theory, for him, that's a break. Getting on top of you and just doing like little tap shots just to keep the referee off your back. I can't see Colby getting down. Don't worry. I can't see him get a takedown. I think Rafael could get taken down once, twice, but I don't think it's anything for him to fear. I think Rafael also was coming into that 170 body. He's had a few fights there. He's been able to put size on and walk around bigger as well. So as much as we say he's a smaller dude, I think he's slowly getting into that 170 frame, getting even bigger, and being able to keep the size on now. Whereas before he's, like say, it was 155. He's just getting a bit. He's staying at that one weight class. He's putting the size on. He's not going back down there to 155, so he can get a bit bigger, lift a little bit more, put a bit more size, a bit more strength on. And because he is strong, like Rafael is strong, even for 170, man, I can see Colby getting stopped. I think I can see Rafael just TKOing him. I think he can just pick him apart, get on top, and just ground and pound him and stop the fight. I'm the same as you though. I think 4th, 5th round, give it a bit of time just to pick him apart. Main event time though. Oh man, what a fight! Rob Whittaker versus Yoel Romero II. The first fight was insane. This fight, this time round, man, like I'm gonna go Yoel Romero. I know it's so hard, right? Don't get me wrong. I think Rob Whittaker is very, very good, and like the fact that he won the title, came up from 170, I'm super happy. I just think Yoel Romero, that Luke Rockhold fight, he showed another level of him. Like he's a smart fighter, and he'll have worked out Rob Whittaker and figured him out a bit more from the last time they fought. I think Yoel Romero's going to be smarter with his takedowns, the type of takedowns that he goes for, not expend the energy he did last time, not waste his energy. I think he'll pick his shots a lot better, and we know about the explosion that Yoel Romero has. I think he's going to have a bit better time in this time round, because I've wrote Yoel Romero off a couple too many times. That's why I'm doing this, because I'm sick of it. Because he just somehow does it. Like even I was like, Rockhold wins against Romero. No. So I'm gonna go Romero. I think I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go for stoppage. Some wild, crazy stuff, like flying knee shit that he does. Like, honestly, it sounds wild. I think Robert Whittaker might come in for striking, and you just see this flying knee come up from Yoel Romero. Man, like, I love you, Will. But yeah, I gotta go Yoel Romero, random stoppage, second, third round. I go crazy. I'm going crazy. All right.
And initially, I was on Yoel Romero as well, and then I started watching more of the fights back, and I watched the first fight of theirs, and I'm thinking, Robert Whittaker made adjustments on the fly against. I think he's the most dangerous guy in the division. I think he's one of the most. I'm going to say it, the most dangerous guy in the UFC. He can literally throw anything at any time. He can be doing nothing, and the next thing you know, you're looking up at the lights. It's I love Yoel Romero. I think he's a really fun fighter to watch because sometimes he might come out, he might be a little bit flat, might be a little bit of a slow starter, but then eventually he starts to pick things up, and then he'll have little spells where he'll look really good, he'll go quiet, and then out of nowhere he's knocked you out. Chris Weidman, down a couple of rounds probably, and then comes out with the absolute knee. I watch that knee and I still wince every time I see it. It's a nasty, dirty knockout. The Luke Rockhold one, I thought he was very slow to start that fight. Then he started throwing flurries, sat back, came into these little spells where he was just beating up Luke Rockhold, and then came out and just absolutely nailed him with another shot. And he was injured as well, and he missed weight, so he must have had a rough cut. He's a big dude. And I love the first fight, the Whittaker Romero first fight. I love watching Yoel Romero, and I love watching Robert Whittaker. I think they're both top guys. But I like Robert Whittaker. I think now he's coming off a big injury as well as Rob Whittaker. He had a staph infection which was really bad, and I think he was in the hospital for like a couple of weeks with that. So really brutal one. We've seen, like, I think it was David Grant got pulled from Liverpool with a staph infection. Yeah. He looked fine. Now, if you're in the hospital with staph, that must be really bad. So, I love the adjustments he made. I thought he looked. I just thought he fought Yoel Romero the way you fight him. You keep him at distance. You take your time. You try and stay out the way of his flurries. And then if you do that, you're going to win the fight. Now, Romero said he let too much time slip by in that fight, and he gave him a little bit too many opportunities to get offense off.
Yeah.
So in this fight, I expect Romero to be a little bit more aggressive, but I think he has to be careful because I think once he works you out and what you're going to do, he's a tough fighter to face. I'm going to go Robert Whittaker to knock out Yoel Romero. Yoel, he's still got that gas tank that concerns me a little bit. Saying that, he has been 5 rounds, but he puts a lot in his strikes, and he puts a lot in the efforts and the combinations that he throws. I just think that Rob Whittaker, if he's 100% healthy, ready, I think he could counter him with a big shot and put him down. So I'm going to go Robert Whittaker to retain his title with a knockout in the 3rd or 4th round.
Hey, consistency in the middleweight division with a champ would be nice. It's a super tight fight. I just thought I've picked a random one.
Yeah, it's close.
I can't wait, honestly. This is one of the fights I'm super excited about this year that's been made again. I know they've done it in the past. It was a great fight, and I can't wait for the rematch. Look, it's Will's bets time, man. You said before 2 bets you've done on this card. Yeah. Enlighten me and the world on these bets.
So I think I'm going to have 3 bets for this card, maybe 4. Okay. I'm looking at 2 more outside the 2 I've already made. The first one that I made was Curtis Blades. And he opened in the UK over here at -110, which is nearly a pick'em. And I thought, right, those lines, that like the odds are going to absolutely skyrocket, and they have. Yeah. Like, the line is massive now on Curtis Blades. A little bit too high, I think. I think he's like -170 over here in the UK.
Well, that's went up then, hasn't it? A lot, yeah.
So I got him at a kind of premium price.
Yeah.
A lot of people get him at I saw a couple other people get him at 110 and -117. So good odds, but it is a tough fight. It's a risky fight. And I knew that when I put on the bet, however long it was, that it was because Overeem's legit. Overeem's been legit for a long time, and Blades is still making that ascension to the kind of top of the rankings. So Curtis Blades is one of my bets. The other one is Holly Holm. I think I thought when the lines got released, she was far too low. She was like minus 160. I thought she should be minus 300.
300, yeah.
At least. So I thought value in there. I went straight in and got her. I actually thought about putting her in a parlay last week with David Tamer, but I thought against it and kind of backed off that one. The other one I really like is Rafael dos Anjos, and he's close. That fight is close to a pick'em fight, so money is coming in on Colby Covington. So he might be an underdog.
So you might leave it a little bit for a couple of days and see where the line goes. Yeah,
he's minus 105 on somewhere over here in the UK. I did see it earlier on. Someone sent it to me actually. I only just saw it in the last half an hour, and he sent me that, and I like that. Hopefully I can get plus money, which would be pretty cool. The other one I'm kind of looking at is a parlay, and it's Mirsad Bektic and Robert Whittaker, but I think it's risky, so I'm probably going to leave that to the side. The other bet that I actually might quite look at is Rafael dos Anjos inside the distance, because if me and you think he's going to get finished Colby, which I think is a strong possibility personally, I think it'll be at fairly decent odds as well. So by the looks of it, I'm going to go 3. It's probably going to be RDA, Home and Curtis Blades, so hopefully I can kind of keep on. I won my bets. What bets did I win last week? I had David Tamer and Nathaniel Wood in a parlay.
Oh, nice.
I had Ben Saunders at plus 183 to beat Jake Ellenberger.
Oh, I had Jake. You put Jake down for KO because both of them are just so...
Big underdog. I had Gregor Gillespie via decision, which that guy's a buzzsaw, by the way. Holy shit.
So awesome. Awesome.
It was a small bet, fairly decent odds. I had Jimmy Rivera as well, and he just got caught, and it happens.
So, I did Rivera too.
I had a profitable night after kind of losing small at UFC Liverpool, so I got myself back on track. So that looks like it's going to be the bets I'm making this week.
What about something like the ladies' Home and the Gardella parlay?
I think Gardella's like minus 400, so she's quite high.
Oh gosh! I haven't seen the odds, so I just thought I'd stick that.
It's like minus 270 now, so you're not going to get much meat off that. So I think it's a really tough card for betting. I've kind of had a few messages from some of the other guys who bet. And they think the same, so they're going to be picking and choosing very, very slight little parts for this upcoming fight card. But that's the bets I think I'm going to make this week.
Okay, and questions, ladies and gentlemen, is just our boy Adam sent one in, ladies and gents. Adam shown his Twitter handle, his name 292. Here we go. So, fan-led meet and greets were required again in Liverpool. Huge props to Manny Bermudez, Aljamain Sterling, and Dean Thomas for coming along. But should the UFC make more of the fight week than it does, especially in a new city? So they don't. They just, the new owners, the new company that have taken over. They apparently, the word is that they're trying to be more professional, so they don't do all that stuff. But at the same time, they're killing it. I think they're killing that into like the main thing about the UFC was that interaction, the fact that you could stand and talk to someone who's a fighter, and they would talk back. There was something about that connection and interaction. They've stopped it now, where if you're a non-resident in the hotel, you can't go in the hotel reception even to get photographs, and you have to wait outside. There's a lot of it now where they're starting to get it push the people away, the fans away, where it's more like you show up to the open workouts, the weigh-ins and the fights, and that's it. We don't want to see anyone, don't want to see any fans any other time. It feels like that anyway. I feel like I see it as a big negative, and it's certainly, especially I had a great time in Liverpool, but I kind of was a bit disheartened by it, and I'm worried that next time I go to an event, if it happens again, I'm like, okay, it's starting to push me away a little bit more. I don't want to not stop going to events, but man, it's a bummer when it happens.
Yeah, and it's like even just they only had Aljo come over, and Aljo was coming over to meet his family in London, so he was already in the country, but they really made no other effort to bring anybody else across. Yeah,
it was meant to be Usman, but his hand was broke. But there's plenty of fights they could have brought over. There's
so many people that they could have brought over.
Do you know what was funny, bro? Sorry to interrupt there. Remember where we were sat, ladies and gentlemen? We were sat just behind. There was a row of fighters. So you had a lineup of UFC fighters.
Yeah, they were in town.
That were in town that could have stepped up on a Saturday and came in 24 hours earlier.
Yeah, exactly. There was loads of them. There was like Paul Craig. There was Danny Roberts,
Henry,
Stevie,
Danny
there was
Roberts.
Henry,
Yeah, just
Leon
a,
Robert,
a
Leon.
plethora.
Sorry, there was loads of people.
Yeah.
But like, what I liked about the meet and greet was like there was a lot of young kids there that kind of came across, like 18,
Yes.
20-year-olds, first events as well.
Yeah.
That, like, there was the young guy that was running about. I don't know. I don't even. Did you get his name? The young lad that
James Brown.
was that his name? James that was running about. That he must for his first fight card to be in amongst all that and meet the
Yeah.
people that he met. It's pretty badass for a first UFC. I know I was
He,
like that my first one, so
yeah, we sorted him out big time.
yeah. So, but like just while we're on that, by the way, shout out to Connor Gibson who made the
Yeah.
poster for us. That guy's got a lot of talent, by the way. You should go and check him out on YouTube. I've been speaking to him the last couple of days. Just a couple of things, bits in here, and the Shooters Bar as well. They were really great with us as well.
Fantastic, weren't they? Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a really good night. We sat and watched Bellator. There was a wheelchair there that was getting used where the fighters were trying to pull wheelies and stuff, which was pretty bad.
Punch machine as well, and it was just all in all a great atmos.
But yeah, getting back to like the UFC, it was a Sunday card in the city that was already really bouncing with the football being on. They had opportunities, I think, to do other things. Maybe go to a GD Sports or something and do a meet and greet. They just did nothing. They did the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And it does put you off. And like, you messaged me, you were there a day early, and like they're not letting you take pictures in the hotel and stuff. And then I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're taking away the experience. We're not causing any trouble. We're getting a picture. Have a couple of minutes to speak to them. Because they're usually they'll stand in, they'll speak to you for a few minutes, but like they're taking that away. It's a little bit disheartening, honestly. But maybe the way forward is that we have to kind of continue to do stuff like that, and maybe if we get one that takes off, and then the UFC will be like, oh, can we like help use out, or can we take some of the recognition from that? It's like it's bullshit, honestly. It was just compared to what it was in the day. Back in the past, where they had the first thing I thought of when I heard that Aljo was the only guest fighter, I thought UFC Dublin. They had Max Holloway, who's a kingpin in the UFC right now. They had Rory McDonald, who is always going to be one of the top fighters in the world. They had Arlovsky, he was a bit of a meh, but they also had Ben Rothwell, who turned up. He didn't have to be there, but he turned up. Still did a lot of things for fans that week. So they just need to be doing a little bit more. That's all we ask, is just a couple more fun interaction moments. Shout out to Darren Till as well. Open workouts. Jesus, if you weren't there, the guy took a picture with every person that stayed that wanted a picture, and there was loads, by the way.
Like every person.
Every
he was there
person.
For at least half an hour. He was there
Half an hour, 40 minutes. There getting pictures with everybody. So shout out to that guy. But yeah, I think if you were to ask the people that we were with as well, they would say the exact same thing. There's not enough for people like us, for Adam, for Jamie, for who else was with us that weekend. There wasn't enough there, and you had to make up. When you have to make up your own stuff, it's really not on, in my opinion. So hopefully that changes going forward. Honestly, I can't see it. No, I can't see it either.
Even at the International Fight Week, I would never go to it because they do nothing for them these days. There's no appeal to it. Last question he has there. Lyoto Machida versus Elias Theodorou. Next. Thoughts? Because Elias called out, said he's a poor man's Lyoto. I don't think that fight will happen, if I'm honest. I don't. I think that, I think Elias probably will get another guy outside the top 15, if I'm honest.
I would put him against Jack Hermansson.
Yeah, like it.
Could push him because Jack Hermansson pushes a pace, and Elias does enough to kind of scrape fights. So it could be an interesting one. Could it happen? Are they both ranked? Elias a ranked fighter now, I think.
Elias is.
So he's probably going to
now.
Yeah. If the other people aren't matched up, you have to think he gets a ranked opponent. But honestly, I think you're right. He might get a guy that's kind of unranked still. So who knows?
I'm with you on that one, 100%. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the questions. That's the bets. That's the breakdowns. That's the podcast this week. Thank you so much again for listening. We're getting more and more subscribers, which I totally forgot to do at the start of the podcast because I'm a complete bell end. But look, we're doing really well, the subscribers. So thank you so much. Last week, load of new views. So it's fantastic for us. It's picking up and it's kicking off. So we're going to keep doing more and more for you. I've just put out an interview in the past few days with Mike Grundy. So check that out as well, people. And thank you so much again for listening. And any words, bro, yourself?
Yeah, just keep on doing what you're doing. Like, I think we had our first 1,000 view video for our predictions one for
Did we?
Liverpool.
I thought it was 997 it was on.
I think we're going to count it as 1,000. So we're nearly in the 4 digits, and if we're not in the 4 digits and you've never listened, go and click on it. Then we'll go.
I am. So, I'm going to lose my shit. It's on 997.
Yeah,
I swear.
that annoys me as well.
It's so bugging me. I might message. I might even go to friends at work tomorrow. Go, give me your phone. Go on YouTube. Just press that. Don't even watch it. Just press it once.
Just just keep on subscribing, keep supporting. We're only growing and getting bigger. Just a shout out to Adam Sean for kind of really doing well with us in Liverpool and setting everything up. The guy's a class act. But until next time, enjoy the fights when they come around next week because it's going to be a fun one. And take care.